So week 14 was Halloween actually, but I think I talked about that enough. On Friday the 3rd, Nimi and Sarah and I went to Olympic Park. The first thing you saw in this video was actually a water feature at school, that water wheel. But we decided to go to Olympic Park to see fall leaves because Nimi missed our trip to Namsan Tower. And you can see that when we got to Olympic Park, we had about an hour of daylight to find everything we wanted to see, like the pink muley grass. Olympic Park was built in 1988 for the Summer Olympics in Seoul. And it's about a 30-minute bus ride north of us in Songpa. So it's pretty easy to get to. And I was going to have to spend all of Saturday and Sunday inside a mall at COEX for the SEOMUN conference. So we decided to spend an hour walking around in the fall leaves before I was exiled to the mall. And it was so beautiful in this park. I think I could have just stayed there for the whole weekend. We wandered around without really, we knew we wanted to find this pink muley grass because it's supposed to be famous, but it's kind of the end of the season for it. But we kind of wandered around and just sort of stumbled across orange cosmos, a whole field of them, and lots of ginkgo trees and all kinds of other beautiful things. Many nice views of Lotte Tower from the park. And I didn't see the birds, but those big nests, I don't know what birds were nesting in them. So while you're looking at these pretty fall pictures, I'm going to tell you about SEOMUN because I didn't take very many pictures there. SEOMUN, I'm an advisor for the MUN at this school, the Model United Nations, but I'm not the advisor that planned this conference. This conference was a year in the planning. I just had to be there. And we had 400 students from all over Asia, Vietnam, the Philippines, Japan, China, Myanmar. We had a delegation from Myanmar, Thailand, Singapore, all kinds of places. But my school was the host, so I don't know, somewhere around 100 students from my school were there. About 50 of them were middle school students that worked as admins, like taking messages and running errands for the presidents of each group. We also had a group of kids that were journalists reporting on all of the happenings in the conference rooms. We had about, 30 conference rooms filled up with kids, and they were writing resolutions and making amendments and passing things. They were very busy and focused for 3 solid days. I wasn't there with them on the Friday because we had parent conferences, and then I went to this park. But then Saturday and Sunday, they spent all day doing this, and I was there checking in on people, listening to them, trying to get some work done myself. And then at the end of it, there were all kinds of awards given out, but the kids selected recipients, delegates, for their Best Delegate and Honorable Mention awards. It was very impressive. I hosted a meeting afterwards, on Wednesday afterwards, in my room, and the students that were the secretariat for developing the MUN, the SEOMUN conference. Here we go, pictures of SEOMUN. They honored they did feedback from the session, and they honored the advisors. Here's some pictures in COEX. I thought that was a really clever column. Oh yes, and I got to eat at Egg Slut. I highly recommend the potatoes. They have truffle oil in them. So that was a very fast picture of the kids honoring the advisors. November 11th was Pepero Day. November 11th is 11/11. So there's these candies that are pretzels that are dipped in chocolate. And the tradition here is that you give these candies to your friends. Haley, who I got to visit with her dog Kylie, made Pepero for me and gave those to me at school. You could see the box that she hand-delivered them. This is pictures of Namdaemun Market Alley, and I went here on November 11th with a colleague and her daughters, and this alley is famous for kalguksu, which is noodle soup. And so it looks like you're going into an alley. It's kind of like Diagon Alley, And then all of a sudden there's all these little restaurants, little counters really, like lunch counters, and people sitting down at tiny stools eating bowls of soup. And outside in the market, there were all kinds of street food being sold. I had one of these things that's like a pancake, but on the inside is the syrup. And these little egg breads have a whole boiled egg in the middle of them, and they're kind of sweet. It was pretty yummy. Those are skates, I think, or rays something, they're dried out and hanging up. And Namdaemun Market had a flower market, so I managed to buy some daisies, some pretty purple daisies, and also a little Christmas tree thing because they had a lot of Christmas decorations up. Those are my purple daisies. And that was the end of the week. You can see how stunned I was by this beautiful sunlight coming through the trees on my way home from the subway on November 11th. It was just a beautiful day, but we have now hit cold weather. And what I want to say about the cold weather is the floor heating in my apartment works really well. Do not worry. It's officially cold now. I'm officially warm in my apartment. And next week we're going to go to the DMZ as a school. So I'll be reporting on that week 16.